Like, I like Shoonhead, but I'm getting a little bit tired of the same two topics over and 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 over. I get it. Men and women be different, and men and women both do silly things. It's like the same thing.
What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now. With millions of sales and almost 20,000 5-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or Book Talk, as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women, in particular, have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman...
That's crazy. I almost never am like involved in like a girly culture. But I was reading a bunch about like the current like popular girly novels because one of my friends recommended me like Sarah J Maas to me. And they're like, well, if you like fantasy. And I was like, maybe. I haven't read it yet. But then I was looking through Reddit of like just like how people feel about Sarah J Maas. And this book kept coming up. The milking stuff. I thought I was going to say she read it. Not yet. Maybe later. And everyone that I read was like, I know it sounds really stupid, but the story's actually really good. And I'm just like, I actually don't know if I could ever... I don't know if I could get it into Minotaur sex. I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me. It's like centaur. Like, imagine like just reading shit about centaur sex. I'm just like, first of all, I think that would just kill someone. It's assuming the male is the centaur, okay? But also, everyone's like watching this being like, no, I promise the plot's like really, really sweet. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. As all AI, you're probably a better writer. Oh, it's for sure all AI. Obviously. What do you think my fucking trash isekais are?
Woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a fucking raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eyeballs on this, because it is so good.
All of you are about to start mocking this. Just so it's clear, I like whimsical girly shit, even if it's gooner whimsical girly shit, okay? You all will sit together and fucking talk about hot asses, and you'll share memes and gifs with each other of fucking titties just going up and down, okay? The amount of times people have shared the gif of me pretending to be a dog and wagging my tail, I don't want to fucking hear a word from any of you, okay? I'm not into this shit. But also, if you judge it and you've gooned a little bit to me going, oh, woo, and wagging my tail, shut the fuck up, okay? I know which like weird videos of me end up like on those like random porn sites where it's just like, look up a girl and find her porn. And then it's just like normal streamers like getting up from their chair. I know what you put up of me. So every one of you that's about to start ragging on these girls for being into milking minotaurs, shut the fuck up, okay? I have seen the zoomed in shots of my feet in the mirror, okay? Don't care. Don't want to hear it. Not interested. The amount of people who've shared me dressed in the cow cosplay, that's the same. It's basically Minotaur shit, okay? It's actually worse because in that case, I'm not even doing sex. There's not even like a sexual component to it. You're just projecting it onto it, okay? Like, I find her attractive and she's dressed like a cow right now. It's the same, except at least this has sex in it. At least the girls arrive at a good time at the end, okay? So before you start mocking the girlies for their shit, all right? Just Google what's the most popular porn in your state and know that it's 90% driven by stupid men, okay? Just do it.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners. I'm reading what I read. Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to And smut is slang for dark romance novels, otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why they delete their browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches...
You're not ashamed of it. You're not ashamed enough. She's about to be like, but these bitches aren't ashamed of it.
Freaks out here. They display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you are thinking. Shu, isn't this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one? You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries,
she's a smutter. It sounds like you're hiding something? Not really. I'm a very boring person in that way, sorry.
men have tried to figure us out. Our mood is affected by...
Kind of tired of people shitting on women for their porn. I agree. Who cares? Who cares? Men have been nutting, and everyone knows that men have been nutting forever, okay? There's a certain level. The amount of shame that men get for nutting is probably the right amount, because y'all are freaks, okay? You're nutting all the time. Girls are nutting way less often. They're finally experienced some level of sexual liberty, and you're just shaming on them all the time, right? If they want to read their erotica, Minotaur sex porn, I don't care. Do it. Whatever. If you're proud of the fact that you love Minotaur sex porn, cool. I don't care. Don't care at all.
The tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are truly mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our...
Why does Shu always call herself a 6? Why are you doing that?
Sexuality.
Nobody thinks that you're a 6. No, you know that nobody thinks that you're a 6.
You see, us
Smutter. It does sound like a slur, doesn't it?
women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated. We are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies.
She called herself a 4, technically. Yeah, but she always, when she references her beauty, she usually says 6. It's just weird.
Together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's different, okay? You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing popularity of dark romance.
I would only be on board with this if the type of women that are really into like proudly reading smut are also going to their boyfriends and being like, if you watch porn, you're cheating on me. But I doubt that. I don't think that the overlap of girls who think men watching porn is cheating are also the girls proudly talking about their erotica. I'm just guessing that they're not the same pool of people. In fact, probably the girl very proud of erotica doesn't give a fuck about your porn use at all. Shoe on head is a lol cow? I mean, not really. Like some people, there's a lot of people who don't like shoe on head. I just think like most people that don't like shoe on head, first of all, okay, let's get into shoe hatred, okay? An essay. Anybody who loves Shu for her political takes, fine, kind of weird. They're not very deep. They're very like quintessentially kind of cringe populist. I would never go to Shoe on Head to go, what is an informed political position on this thing? Okay, and that's fine. That's fine. That's how probably a lot of people feel about me. I don't think that that's what Shoe thinks her content's for. Okay, a lot of people go to Shoe on Head because they think she's funny. And there's a lot of people, I just gotta say, the hatred that some people, I got into a fight in my Discord with a close friend of mine about Shoe on Head derangement syndrome. The level of hatred, to be honest, this kind of goes back to the benevolent sexism. The level of hatred that people feel justified expressing about Shoe, when it's like, what's the worst she's done? Like, have some bad takes that we disagree with. Kind of more conservative, dogs on women more at the like, benefit for the men that watches her, but dogs on men a lot, so it's not like she's just exclusively throwing women under the bus. It's like, y'all hate her too much. You can think she's not funny, but the level of response people have to Shoe on Head is super deranged to me. Like, the amount people hate her, I'm like, I think I think that's it. I think I found the misogyny. There it is. Like, there's no reason to hate this woman this much at all. She just like does funny videos that you may not enjoy. That's it. And has bad political takes and some good political takes. That's it. Crazy. It is crazy. It just literally feels like it's like this classic thing that when society finds a woman that we've decided is bad woman, the level of like suppressed leftist misogyny that they haven't been allowed to take out on all of the women in their life, like gets honed in towards that one woman. And it's just like, y'all need to chill. Okay? Liberal leftist misogyny, when it gets unleashed, is unfucking hinged. Unhinged. And you're never going to be like, wow, she's ugly. She's hit the wall. Although some leftists do. Most of them will just be like, she's literally the worst. She's a grifting Nazi and she fucking loves conservatives and she fucking drinks conservative cum and she's a really bad person and she's probably like a net negative on the world. And I'm like, she is probably a net neutral, maybe a slight net negative. Maybe.
Book Talk is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop.
I'll change the title, by the way.
Spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? Porn. It means porn. Spice level is very important to book talkers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read? How spicy is the book they're currently reading? Spice, spice, spice. The spiciest book going viral on Book Talk lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god! Just like me! On the verge of moving into her parents' basement. When a lifeline...
She also has a deep affinity for Starbucks coffees that are too expensive and not that tasty. She loves Uggs but won't wear them anymore because she knows that they're what people call cringe. And she has slight mother issues, which means that if she has to move back in with her mother, it will make her socially regress to kind of like when she's 16. And then one of her friends will come over at some point and just hang out to get coffee. And she'll like snap really weirdly at her mom. And her friends will be like, why are you doing that? And then she'll be like, oh my God, I thought I was a girl that didn't have mommy issues. But it turns out I do have mommy issues. No! We went to full projection mode. Okay, first of all, I don't like Starbucks coffee. I like Starbucks matcha. It's different, actually. And Uggs are actually the worst boots ever, especially because I work with animals all the time, which means that all my shit gets dirty and needs to have like some level of toughness to them. Dude, Starbucks fell off. Yeah, true. Starbucks hit the wall. Like, that Starbucks lady, she hit the wall. She's not aging well, is she? Like, kind of see some stress lines starting to, those crow's feet. That's
appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is... grade A certified prime beef. How much you want to bet that Shu actually read this after and liked it? In fact, she read it right before having sex with her partner because it got her kind of in the mood. I'm just saying, that's probably what happened. And also, good for her. With the manly, meaty endowments to... Okay.
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
No. This is every fucking breadtube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video.
Every video essayist is like, how do I blame rich people for this thing that I didn't like that much? Shoehead fighting the booktube community right now? She better not. They will destroy, okay? You want to see an angry group of people piss off makeup YouTube or booktube, okay? Just saying, all right? Not a good time. You think snarkers are bad? Who do you think they was born, all right? What's the fucking Bane? I can't do the Bane quote. Imagine the Bane quote, and then at the end of it, it's booktubers, okay? Ha ha, ha 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 ha. Okay, that's the joke. All right.
So I actually read the book myself, and I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, she did read the book and she liked it.
The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the
Lame.
story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest Minotaur milk to make Viagra for human males.
Based.
And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna
Yeah, you did.
put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here like selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote, the seam of his sack. So I'm reading this, and the whole time I'm
Especially every person that has had to be face to face with a dick knows the seam that she's talking about, okay? But I gotta say, not a big fan of the seam, okay? Everyone has been face to face with a dick. All of you men who've not been face to face with your dick, you think you know the seam, but you don't, okay? We've seen that shit from the underside, and it's fucking weird. Another ick to be afraid of. I'm just kidding. This has been a very sexually heavy stream. We've been talking about sex a lot, which is crazy because I've never had it.
a bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will.
Imagine you have AI to write your entire erotica book, and then this is the art. This is the official art. You have AI. Just use it. You're already using it. Who drew this? Look, it's better than I could ever draw. But why? It's not even a sexy cow. Look, there are sexy cows. There's gotta be, right? Look at his abs, okay? Imagine this, but more lats, and everything's not just fucking... He should be a spotted cow. I feel like spotted cows would be more sexy. I'm just saying. I feel like if he had spots, he had like the bone white body with like a big black patch of black across his chest, I think it'd be like tattoos almost, right? It'd be like cool rocker tattoos, black up his neck, like a blackout tattoo. I feel like that'd be cute. This is all you get. This is like when you're playing D&D and then the DM's like, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Especially you're playing D&D, AI hasn't been released yet, and your DM's like, okay, imagine like this, but it's not cringe, okay? And then they just give you this, and they're like, just imagine this, but he doesn't, like, what is this haircut? What is his fucking haircut? He's like if Bieber became a fucking cow, okay? He's like, hey, babe. It's like a fuckboy cow. I'm not acting this out, because this is also going to end up on one of those weird porn sites. First of all the people who hate me are going to make a gif out of it and circulate it forever. And then second of all, it's not going to be that funny, okay? You can imagine the bit. It looks like a Bieber fuckboy, but a cow. What is this?
Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will be like, his hooves clip-clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets. And it's like, I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him.
Does he have hands? Wait, we gotta go back to the fan art. Does he have hands? Right? Okay, he does. When he said my hooves, I was like, wait, does this motherfucker? He was like, hello, I'm ready to have sex with you, young lady. And he's like, careful, sorry. Boom. And he like is bonkering in the face with his fucking hooves constantly. I could do things.
A straight up cow. I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she describes kissing him. And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing this shit and you're just like, that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also f***ers his ass. She f***ers the cow's ass. By the way,
do I have a story to tell you guys? It's one time. Look, let me just tell you. Have you ever worked at a barn? You ever worked at a barn and you've walked in and you've wondered what the weird long disposable gloves are for that go all the way up to your arm? Yeah, I know what those are for. Yeah, they like go all the way up to like here. Oh, what do you mean? No, I didn't. Yes. When you have like a pregnant animal and it is like having issues and your vet is far away and they're on the phone with you, like describing what you need to do to keep the thing from dying. Yes. Your arms go in bad places. Just saying. Ask a vet. Ask a vet how many cow assholes their arms have been in. Just saying. Just ask them.
If you want an uncensored version of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me talking about
uncensored
and fingering a cow's asshole. Is that what you freaks want? Anyway,
it is. She knows what she's doing. I know what I'm doing, and she knows what she's doing. Okay, we both know what we're doing.
Oh, and he has one of those bowl rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. Ooh. And in this world, that means like you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is divorced. This is a divorced cow with a cow ex-wife. The lore is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this to you. When the bill arrived, she attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her.
Her what? What's a wristlet? Does she also just have like like potions hooked to her side? Make sure if you like this, like, follow, subscribe, and if you enjoy the show, this is the point of the show where I say toss a coin to your Witcher if you want to support me. One of the best ways you can do so is actually on Patreon. Patreon, I get like 92% of the benefits. Wait, 92? Yep, 92%. We offer DBT work skills. There will be no cow milking reading whatsoever on it, though. Sorry.
That's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you? She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for.
What kind of feminist are you to not pay for your meal with your cow lover? Do you think they had burgers? Do you think if you were dating a cow man, like, you have to be vegetarian? You have to at least be anti-beef, right? I feel like that'd be weird. Would it be weird? Would it be weird if, like, it'd be weird if we ate monkey, right? Like, obviously minotaurs are not literally bovines in the same way, but it's weird, right? That would be offensive. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the Minotaur culture is like super, super like violent and Giga Chad, and they're like, we actually fucking hate cows. We go out of our way to eat more cows than other people because we want to make sure that everyone knows that we're people too. We're not a stupid cow, so we eat them. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe in defiance of their cowhood, they eat cows to insist on their humanity. Somebody should write this book. You're welcome. Here you go. Minotaur discovering its humanity by eating beef. And then just put weird sex scenes in there and you've got a book.
Her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night and shouldn't have. Violet. If the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her, the heat of his hand dropping to her knee would've. I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our career.
Well, this is both like a very alpha domineering. This is like the weird thing with this woman. The woman writer was like, I love when men throw me around like a blacksmith consensually, and then also does aftercare and uses safety language. Like, it's like, he commandingly says, hey girl, you're in a safe space, like whatever, it's up to you, like, you know, all these things. Your safety and your comfort matters most. You hold all the cards. Also, I'm gonna throw you around later. She's like, ah, crazy. What is this? What is this?
Years. You can say no, you can say you don't want to see me again, you can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time, but I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. She was she was a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation. Inside every
Yeah, man, you guys ever had that? Yeah, hey girls, you ever had that moment where like you're sitting at dinner and the guy offers to pay for your meal and you're like, God, if I could just fall face first on his cock, I don't even want a meal. All I want is a big mouthful of cock right now. Has everyone like ever had that feeling? No? Crazy.
woman, there are two wolves. Or two bowls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will fold like a lawn chair and instantly return to factory setting.
A dominant farm animal who respects boundaries.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
Clean up aisle 5. So that's what I thought of it. But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This book?
Wait, there's no world where you cover women talking about the goon shit and it ever... Nobody... Here's the thing, okay? Nobody ever looks good talking about the things that they genuinely enjoy sexually, okay? Any leaked sex DMs are always the most embarrassing shit ever from whoever it comes. It doesn't matter who the DMs are from. It's gonna be embarrassing, okay? So if she was about to just show a bunch of like women talking about how much they love the sex book, it is going to sound cringe because that, sorry, it just will, all right? It just will. Talking about sex, unfortunately, this way, it's just always embarrassing. We're always just like, oh, God. Even porn sounds cringe. I mean, especially porn sounds cringe, just to be clear. Okay, porn is not written for the plot.
Has a 4.1 on Amazon with 21,000 ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads with nearly 60,000 ratings.
Wow.
Let's just read some random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking good time. Sweet and creamy. The spice is spicing. I was very leery of starting this because I thought it was just going to be porn. The plot is pretty good. The plot? Please. This is like the new, I read Playboy for the articles, like, sure you do. This book could kill a Victorian child.
I actually don't
5
think that's
stars.
true.
I'll never.
I would not be surprised at all if, like, what? Oh fuck! Who was? I shouldn't actually say who I was talking to. I don't. If I don't say who I'm talking to, you guys are just gonna think I'm talking about myself. Fuck it, whatever. You can think I'm talking about myself. I think actually, like, I think part of the appeal of erotica for women is the fact that it has some level of story so that they can like feel like they emotionally connect. So the idea of like it having lots of porn and there being like a decent level of robust story, I think actually is the selling feature for like a lot of women. And again, heard a lot of women that, for example, read yaoi, like gay porn manga stuff. And they talk specifically about how they like it more because there is a development and like plot, whereas like most was it hentai manga is it's just like sex over and over and over, and that's like about it. You're calling it cope. It's not cope. I don't know what to tell you. Boys and girls don't like the same thing. I've never heard of that before. Aren't they all the same thing? No, they can like different things. They often do. This is where like the men are from Mars things come from. Yaoi? You're not that Gabrielle, that is not helping me pronounce it. Remember 50 Shades of Grey, it's that book's fault. But again, 50 Shades of Grey has a significantly more developed plot than like your porn. Anime Erotica for sure voice act a little boy for some anime. Yeah, because all the voice actors in dubbed anime is trash. Just using tech to describe porn though. It doesn't have a plot either. I don't know what to tell you. Most of the women that I know that read it, like Sarah J. Maas, is it Sarah J. Maas? Sarah J. Maas? Whatever. Isn't it porn? I'm pretty sure it's fucking considered smut. Am I crazy? I haven't read it, so I don't know. Yeah, there's sex scenes. Sarah J. Maas is like one of the most prolific like smut girl writers. Like people love this shit. And also it has a very extensive like fantasy world. Again, from what I heard, I haven't read it. I'm going to though, just so it's clear. Fuck you. I'm going to give it a try because my girly pop likes it and I'm going to connect with my girly pops. But I don't know what to tell you. Like it seems like when there is an actual legitimate plot to it, even if it's a really shitty plot, it seems like women like it more. I don't know what to tell you. 50 Shades of Grey just does have more of a plot than probably 90% of smut. It's not a great plot, but it probably does. I keep saying probably, I'm really not in this genre. And again, I'm not saying that I'm not in this genre because I'm like, I'm better. I'm just saying like, I'm boring. That's it. I'm literally saying I'm boring.
Look at a jug of milk the same. I think I'm lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star, not a helpful guide. This book failed to teach me how to milk a cow and now my family has no food for the winter. 1 star,
That's
accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation. Gave this to my mom as a joke gift for Christmas. You what? Lesai. Why can't human males be more like this? Tall, rich, and handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot tall creature.
This is like saying men like porn for how sensual and intimate the actors are. It's literally not. Men and women can like different things. They like it because there's sex and there's story attached so they can emotionally connect to the sex. I don't know why this is complicated for you. Duke, you're literally being the guy being like, men and women are actually the same though. It's like, no. They often do have different preferences. There's some overlapping. There's probably a lot of women who just like porn by itself. They just want the rough nitty gritty. But I imagine if you're taking the level of effort to read a story with porn in it, probably the fact that you could emotionally connect because there is some fucking barely modicum of a story there is part of why you like it.
God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks like, and I intend to fully enjoy it before the Supreme Court takes this right away next. If this is what freedom looks like, I'm really rethinking my stance on freedom, not gonna lie. Maybe we should have less of it. All I know is if Donald Trump takes the monster porn, we are going to make
repeal the 19th joke. I called it.
2020 look like a picnic, okay?
Bye, Perknoon.
Bull cock matters. Oh my god. Edit that out. Editor, edit that out. Women are gonna be picking up Animal Farm now, like...
Wait, she has an editor? I just assumed she was editing her own shit. That's crazy.
Where's the horse cock? Some of you people owe a certain streamer an apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after buying this book, Amazon has given me a few interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved.
She does edit her videos. That's the joke. Oh. Okay. Repeal the 19th jokes are funny because they're back in style now. It's not funny. I'm sorry. There's only so many. It's like the woman kitchen joke. It's funny the first time you heard it, and then it stopped being funny immediately. It barely was funny the first time you heard it. I don't know what to tell you. If you think it's funny, that's fine. Probably also like poo jokes. Which is, again, that's fine. Slapsticks for some people. It's not for me. I'm sophisticated. I love meta-irony, which makes me an elevated thinker, unlike you who likes poo jokes.
Demon. Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy. Mane of my existence. The gargoyle and the spinster. The widow and the orcs. Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc. Moth manager. Wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce. Oh.
Which, again, before you all laugh at their whimsy, it's embarrassing. What's the title of your porn? 3 girls suck 1 dick. Stepmom loves my cock. Okay? Your shit, it's direct. It's also embarrassing. Just saying. Sex, it's always embarrassing. It is what it is. Pounded by produce is crazy. What is this? Some vegan dream. They're like, a tofu monster.
Are the
The moth
Are
one?
the-
Of all of them, General, the moth one was the most shocking to you? That's crazy. Of all of them, General's like, look, I can accept lions and dragons and orcs and produce fucking, but I draw the line at moths. Hard line for me, by the way. Maybe he's buff. It takes a lot of arm strength to fly when you're a man and a moth. Okay, he's probably got crazy lats.
These the books the Nazis burned?
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you to is called Morning Glory Milking Farm. And it's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special
There's no man in this video, is there? She's just talking to the mirror right now.
type of milking.
See, honey,
Oh
she's
no, he started laughing. There was a guy there. That's funny.
his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washing machine again. Women on TikTok are openly, proudly talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to romantasy on TikTok. Best-selling romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes. But in recent months, book talk has become full of
Man, I've been fucking up with the isekais, okay? Not a single bit of steamy hot sex in isekais. It's just extremely poorly written fantasy, okay? That's it, with levels.
men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these popular female-centered books. Obviously, this is all a massive performance. We live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God. Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch porn in any random month. There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire, scenes that depict women coming first and frequently.
No, it's just the monsters. It's just surprising that a lot of women are into specifically monster sex. That's it. Nobody expected it. I didn't expect it, frankly. I thought it would be serial killers. I'm not gonna, I thought it was going to be like some murderer. I thought the most popular smut shit would be like something to do with true crime as well. But it's not. It's like really respectful monsters who also want to ravage your body. That's what it is. I don't know. It's crazy. They want the horse cock. It is what it is. I don't know. I don't get it, but white women and their pets, am I right?
And what they are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine," but his astonishment in
Is the anthropomorphic stuff the most popular? Probably not, but I don't know. The milking thing is, the milking minotaur book is like really popular in the girly pop space. It just is. Maybe it's just opened a new event. Maybe just that book, sex, is really well written. I don't know. Or maybe it's just opened the third eye for a lot of women.
itself is astonishing. Like, what do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine? Grow up. Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is what you guys.
Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking beers, talking about women they've fucked or want to fuck. Like, I don't know. It's the same shit in different colors. I don't know. Yes, it happens. Is it slightly embarrassing? Not actually. Talking about sex is not embarrassing, actually.
Are essentially doing. It's just funny, okay? Like, it's funny. Are we really going to pretend that a story about a young...
That's different, though. That's porn and fetishes. I've definitely heard men sit around and talk about fetish stuff. Definitely heard men sit around and talk about kinky porn and sex dungeons. I've just heard it all. I don't know. Y'all are just being like, all these men in my chat are being right now, they're like being like, oh, I'm a virgin. I would never touch myself. I would never watch those bad, naughty videos. I only watch Clifford. Shut up. Quit lying. Why are you coping right now? Where is Arrow hearing this stuff? From many men that I talk to all the time.
Woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt.
Are you in the camp of people that think all porn is okay as long as no real people are harmed in its making? I think porn is neutral and it's like drugs and it often gets abused. Yeah, lots of porn consumption tends to be really bad for relationships and for sex, but that doesn't make porn bad. It makes like the consumption of it bad. Yeah.
Is not funny. It's funny. If that makes me a sexist or misogynist,
we don't openly talk about it and call it art and literature. So you'll talk about how like driving cars is a real sport. I don't care. Men have their whimsy. It's very silly and it exists. And you guys do your weird men whimsy things where you all like boy out over a game and you talk at literally hours about like video game meta, or you'll talk about cars, or you talk about how driving fast cars is a sport actually. And then you'll make fun of girls who turn around and they're like, actually, when my horse does all of the work, it is a sport. Or they'll talk about their favorite smut or whatever other whimsical shit that's girly that they like. All you're doing is you're telling me that you think feminine things are stupid, which it's not. Feminine things are fine. Thank you for all of those sponsorships. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay? It's all the same. It's all totally fine. Also, Tally, welcome. I see you lurking. You got a sponsor, so now I know you're here. I knew Tally would be into this talk. Tally's like, I love oh wait, you're a lesbian. I love miniaturesque porn. Okay? If you don't like the whimsy of women, that's fine. Whatever. Fuck a man, I guess. But whimsy that's feminine in nature isn't embarrassing or silly or stupid. It's just feminine. Whimsy that's boy shit isn't silly and stupid and bad. It's just whimsy. And if it's not for you, that's fine. But shitting on other people, just like being happy and expressing themselves, is mean. It's just shitty behavior. It's like when people bully me for liking Shoe on Head. I get it. You don't think she's funny. Look, the 13th, 19th Amendment joke, it's getting a little old. I agree. But I still like Shoe for the most part. Her recent videos have been less funny to me. But still, I like it. Fuck you for shitting on my joy for no reason.
and above the other gooners is just, it's silly. I'm sorry, but you are no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space 12.
Baze.
You're sitting there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse cock spinning 360 degrees in your mind. I'm not impressed. The scenes these men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy. But purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there's much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered knotting, a popular term in romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides. Oh, honey, that's not a popular trend in romantasy. That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it. You don't know what knotting is. What are these women reading, bro? What happened to that, like, stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown and falling in love with the cute farmer boy? What happened to that?
I don't know what happened to men, Gene. Like, man, I just really want a wife and kids and a princess aesthetic and I want to be the hero and blah, blah, blah. And then they're being like, I want to fucking bury my face in all these women's titties. I want to fuck as many pushies as I can. I want to buy her panties. I don't know. Everything dead. And also most people are also this way. I don't know. I'm not liking this. It feels like it's just shitting on women for like cringe, embarrassing sex stuff. But it's like, I don't know. Everyone does cringe, embarrassing sex stuff.
Used to make fun.
At least women go to church. Men don't even go to church.
Of that. We truly did not know what we had until it was gone.
Look, let me just say, as a woman, I'm aware. Do you know how many offers I get for my underwear? How much money I get offered for my underwear? A lot. Also, I will continue to block you because I'm pretty sure it's the same person that's made like 6 alts. Please stop. It's weird. I will never sell you my underwear. Go away. Also, how many men probably watch like actual monster porn too? Probably a lot. I don't know. Just wait. I literally know a guy whose job is to paint OnlyFans models into monsters because it's such a success. I don't even know why I'm asking this. I literally know a guy whose entire job is painting OnlyFans models into monster characters to film porn. That does, by the way, very well because they're able to pay him per session and it's like 2 to 4 hours to paint their bodies. So Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Everyone does weird shit with sex. If you like monster stuff, whatever. I don't really care. Just don't harass people.
And people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to the shit the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least Christian Grey was a human man and not a fucking dog. You fantasize about dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book, except that book is about f***ing a half man, half bull. Let me let you in on a little secret. The quiet, nerdy girl is way more of a freak than the average hoe. Are you kidding me? It's not even close.
True.
The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet, nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least 100 bodies. Now listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with role play. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow. Or at least I hope not. We all know there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality? Well, you get Sinners and Stardust.
These cosplays are kind of sick. Like, this cosplay looks like it might be actually pretty fucking sick.
So, what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right? Maybe, if you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently for you. Alright, y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know my good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend, he attended Sinners and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent? Or to put your—
Oh my gosh, she's reading so slow. But do you think it's okay to put your hands down his waistband, down his band, and touch his— okay,
hands in his waistband or down his pants or touch his dick? Hello? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman, despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and, you know, that shit is fiction, and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and—
I like how in her describing his sexual harassment and sexual molestation, she's like, and also trash talking my books. So my friend was really, really badly sexually harassed and sexually molested at this convention. And also the women who were doing this would follow him around and would not leave him alone and not take boundaries. And they also trash talked my book. I didn't need to know that. That is not relevant to the story, but okay.
To follow him when he tries to get away. And if that wasn't enough, during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an air tag was tracking him, which showed on his person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety, and then they put a f***ing tracker on him in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy dressed like a character in one of the romantasy books at this romantasy convention full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves. Or in this case, throwing a wolf into a pit of roast beef. I remember years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent. Basically, it was a campaign to bring attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. Yeah, apparently we have to bring that back because these women did not get the memo. I've been a furry for over a decade and attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly, I can't believe the dark romance crowd is out here acting like this. Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect.
That's crazy. I'm also not surprised. Look, talking about women accountability. Women aren't usually the source of sexual impropriety. The issue is that when they are, it feels like they just have like no concept of the idea. Like when a woman does something like that's like sexually inappropriate, I feel like they so often have no even concept that what they're doing is super sexually inappropriate. And then they'll just like lean in and double down. And it's just like, sister, this is still a violation of consent. and inappropriate.
Something has gone horribly wrong. Not only were the men at this book talk convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women, including a performer, reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author there said she was groped and dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, "My words did nothing." May I remind you, this is a book convention, okay? For books. Literal BDSM clubs are more respectful than this. There needs to be more studies on how this stuff affects women.
I don't think it's a woman thing. I don't know. I definitely, like, everyone has that story of, like, the girl who gets, like, really, really weird about, like, sex with, like, a certain guy and, like, shames him and stuff like that. I do think there's a bit of a weird thing that, like, women are usually not the ones pushing these boundaries. But in the weird cases where they are, it feels like the woman herself feels, like, so much less aware of the problem.
Brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality. Ivy Lipton, a doctoral candidate in human sexuality, actually wrote about this for EV magazine. I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral. Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal. If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that. It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest. Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image to spite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels because one is a video of two people actually having real sex and the other is, well, just words on paper. I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been
No, we don't. We know too much porn is bad for the brain.
proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up. But is
I don't know if I trust this doctoral in human sexuality person. Yes, we do. No, we don't, Mito. Look into the data. It's like most behavioral addictions. Gambling isn't bad for the brain. Addiction to gambling is bad for the brain. It's still bad for your brain. No, it's not, Mito. You can't just insist on something for it to be true. It is almost it is a behavioral addiction, is what it is. Behavioral addictions doesn't mean sex is bad for the brain, but sex addiction is bad for the brain.
Reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. So let me rephrase, is reading smut harmful? Should we shame people for things that are wrong, immoral, or harmful? In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed, pedophilia should be shamed. I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades of gray, so to speak, along the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy. Basically, they're cooked. Like, women are cooked. They are frying their brains with this stuff.
Again, I think the lots of violent stuff is true. Like, I think a woman who's consuming almost exclusively, I think it's the same as people who watch a lot of true crime. I think it's bad for their brain. I think that bad for their brain. The issue is when people say bad for the brain, they have no fucking clue what they're talking about. You literally don't know the first thing about neuropsychology, and I would have to get way too esoteric to even explain this to you, because bad for the brain, it's not destroying your brain like not having thiamine is destroying your brain from alcoholism. But anyways, we'll just call it bad for the brain right now because nuance is dead. Somebody consuming lots of true crime will pattern in your brain a certain expectation and social engagement that's probably going to prime you for high levels of anxiety, paranoia, and distrust of strangers, which is why lots and lots of true crime can be bad for the brain. Not because it just damages structures in your brain, though. Just to be very, very clear. Which is why it's a stupid way to talk about behavioral addictions is bad for the brain, because it's just do you think that parts of your prefrontal are dying when you gamble too much? What do you think is happening here exactly? Crack is killing brain cells. What do you think porn addiction is doing to do you think porn addiction is killing your brain cells? Why would you think that? Probably watching and consuming lots and lots of porn addiction kills sperm cells. I think it drops you in zinc. And I think it can make like some sort of like issues around like their prostate and your testes, like because you're just fucking ejaculating so often. But that's different. It's not killing your sperm cells. So in the case of watching like or reading monster porn, don't really think that that's a big of a deal. But there has been instances where people consume too much of a certain type of porn and then they can't be aroused by their partner anymore because their partner isn't that thing. So obviously if you're reading monster porn and your partner is not a minotaur, you might run into some issues. I actually think the area that's more of concern is the violence, the rape fantasy, and like the non-consent stuff. Because I think that is training your brain to like crave and want violence. And I do think that there is just problems with like the BDSM space and violence. And we want to like normalize it and be like, actually, it's fine because I've consented to this violence. And I'm like, I don't think anyone mentally healthy can consent to this violence, actually. I think that the fact that you are consenting it is the flag that something's not going right. But the idea that it's just like consuming monster porn harms your brain is just like, what does that even mean? Like, the only people, by the way, who say that don't understand anything about neurobiology, like whatsoever. ERUDITE medicalizes a joke. More at 11. Fuck you! Social media has specific effects on the brain and mental health. Do you know which effects that they have? Exactly? What effects does depression have on the brain? Do you know what that is? Oh, we don't? There's no biological etiology of even something like autism that we could put our finger on? It's almost like you guys know fucking nothing about the brain. So shut up. Stop trying to use pseudoscience to insist on your moral positions. You can have your moral positions and just leave the pseudoscience behind, okay? Also, stop taking Tylenol, okay? I can smell it.
It's a pipeline, right? It's like the infamous
depression flattens the brain. Okay, Psychonaut. You're baiting.
Evil alt-right pipeline. You know, you start watching Shoe on Head, owning...
So because no one knows that means you're right, you don't know what you're refuting to right now. You haven't been able to keep up enough to even know how you're refuting me. All right, back to the
feminists in 2015, and then in 2025, you're hailing Hitler, right? You know, the alt-right pipeline. And this one's like, you're reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and fangs, or like a 10-foot tall dommy mommy vampire.
What? What is this equating? She just doesn't know what monster porn men can watch. Yeah, most monster porn is like normal stuff, just like most girls that are probably into monster porn probably mostly just read normal smut and fantasy smut. And like there's one or two monsters that are like, it's kind of weird, but I'm kind of into it. The people who like the really weird stuff, they exist on both sides. And I'm just telling you, when it comes to weird sex stuff, men are doing it more. They're just doing it more. Their wieners but take them to weird places, okay? And look, some people's coochies take them to weird places too. Let's not act like the average monster girl that the guy's into is just like, she's just a little extra tall. As if that's a monster at all. But these bitches, the monsters they're into moths. They're all just really wanting to fuck moths. It's like, no.
With giant titties. Meanwhile, women are like, I want to f the pollution monster from Fern Gully. So people on Reddit asked this very question. Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances? Asking for a friend. Several reasons. 1, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic now, lol. 3, unique body forms / parts and so many different kinds of dicks. Scary, mean, terrifying creature is sweet to her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc. Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women, etc, etc. Because the monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men. As a fat woman of color, modern, contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic, and romance in real life is not always attainable for fat women / women of color. In monster alien romance, though, my size doesn't matter, and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it. I'm sick of the men on Earth and looking for some
They're just fem cells. It's just fem cells. Yeah, I shouldn't even be surprised. Probably a lot of the chicks that are really, really into monster porn are fem cells. Unsurprising.
Variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense. Plus the unusual dick. Monsters have big, fun-shaped cocks. I love some bizarre peen. Unique genitalia. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. A lot of women's smut, especially monster smut, is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like conquered and
very unlike other smut with just humans. Wait.
taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is, many women still crave it. You see, the monsters in these stories have those like dominant masculine traits that women like so much, but they're not human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring.
Yeah, possibly. Probably a lot of the girls that are into it are also really into like fantasy shit just in general. I don't know. I don't think it's that deep.
Without being the men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild dominant man. They want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go for it. Go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire for like danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be that special woman.